AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
How do Knicks fans view Paul Reed?
You're a mark, bro. You just made this. Listen, Flea, what I said the other day. The Knicks fans are the Bronx Zoo. I didn't say this earlier, Dom. I was saving it. This is a sweep. Get ready.
Whoa.
You remember last year you laughed at me, Dom. I said Knicks in
7 or 6. How many did you say just a second ago?
4 games. I told you
yeah.
last year the Cavaliers have no chance against us. The 76ers, they have Embiid limping around. I do not want to downplay this. When you have OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson, who are defensive player type of players, all NBA type, high-level guys, offensive rebounding, high level, defensive rebounding, high level. They play right into Thibodeau's hands. You see it. I always compare everything to football, Flea, Sean. I compare everything to football. This is a moving line of scrimmage at all times, and they disturb everybody's line of scrimmage. This is going to be incredible for me. I can't wait for everybody else to witness this. I love basketball, and I'm just glad that they're on my side. This is going to be incredible. 4 games. Sweet, baby.
Sweet. Okay, Flea, you said how many games? 7 or 6?
I got this series being, like Sean said, a really barn burner, one of those, like I said, 80s, 90s series where it's really going to be physical. I really expect the Knicks to bully the Sixers. I see us trying to be bullies to them. You know what I'm saying? Because we really going to have to muck the game up. Because if we don't muck the game up, we don't have, like we just said, enough playmakers, enough guys that could go get it. We know Brunson could go get it. We don't have another guy that could just flat out go get it. And in the playoffs, you're going to need that. We're going to have some games where we'll need a Josh Hart game the way he had a 20 rebound triple-double, and we got Jesus Christ, Josh Hart. We're going to need certain guys to step up above what they are because we don't have Julius Randle, right? Because we don't have another guy to say, here, take me home, go get it. So, but in terms of Paul Reed, I had very choice words for Paul Reed offline. I'm not going to deliver those words via the internet waves, but I will say this. You always get what you ask for, baby. Anytime you ask for something, you get what you ask for. And by all means, we're going to give you everything you want. They asked Kobe White the other night. They asked Kobe White, hey, Kobe, what you think about what you think about Jaylen Brunson? He is a MFer. Y'all saw that, right? Then they asked him last night. They said, hey, you remember what you said about Jaylen Brunson? A lot of people talking about Jaylen Brunson, everything. Jaylen Brunson. So I'm very, very confident in my New York Knicks.
And to stick up for my guy Paul Reed a little bit here. So I like Paul. I'm happy to have him as a backup center. And you mentioned RB doing the podcast with him. I've had a chance to meet Paul a couple times, hang with him in the kind of family section like that. It's fair to assess he's not the sharpest crown in the box here, that I don't think he meant any ill intentions here. It's kind of something that came out, not how he meant it. And I think he realized it immediately after he said it. I get using it as bulletin board material. If I was in your guys' shoes, I absolutely would as well. But I don't think this was something that he set out and said, I want to go at Knicks fans next, or I want to go at the Knicks next. It just kind of slipped out that way. And those are the ways to b-ball Paul. He did the same thing earlier this season facing Anthony Davis, where he made a comment about, I got to make sure I stay out of foul troubles because he flops a lot. And that was not at all what he meant to say, but that's how it came out and that's how it blew up. And that's kind of the good and bad you live with Paul Reed.
They got to get him a muzzle, Sean. They got to invest in a muzzle over there in Philadelphia.
I literally tweeted out today. I was like, somebody in the Sixers organization should step in and not let him do a press conference for the rest of the playoffs.
With a gag order out, man.
Yeah.
They already answered this question. They said, how should we guard Embiid? He says, me personally, I play him straight up and let him get his 30. Don't let him creep for others. That's the opposite of what Fabian said. Fabian was saying, get ready to show help with your big. Go ahead. You got something to say. We're going to close it out soon, by the way.
No, you don't let Embiid do what he wants to do and get warmed up. No, you try to stop. You just try to get in his way and just disrupt everything he tries. That him at the top of the key is lethal. He's there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean. He's the best facilitator right now. Or it's easier for him to facilitate than everybody else. It looks like. And
yeah.
You know, I don't. I'd rather OG out there when he can switch on him and just disturb him as much as possible from that footwork and that 7-foot frame, being able to pass as much as possible from there. Nah, don't let him do what he wants to do. What was that? Amazement. Appreciate you paying this guy the $5 and everything. Amazement, but no, that wasn't amazing. That was horrible advice by you, Amazement.
I never agree with Fabian because we are just like, you know, like oil and vinegar or whatever that saying is. So I never agree with him, but he's my brother and I love him because we are Knicks fans together. But I do agree with that, and that plays into my original point about making Maxey the guy and being the guy to beat us in this series. I want us to make Joel Embiid work very hard because he is not 100%. So if you're making this guy work really hard, he's exerting a lot of energy when he know he's just not, you know, he's just not 100%. It'd be different if we're rolling into this series and Joel is coming off back-to-back MVP years and he's just rolling into this series ready to go lathered up and ready to kick Mitchell Robinson ass, right? But this is different. So I think we have to make him work hard. Like you said, Fabian, double from all angles, right? Wherever he touches, the double got to come from the hot side, right? Double, however you got to make it happen. Make him get rid of the basketball. Make him pound. You know he likes to put the ball on the floor. Make him pound the rock. Make him take difficult shots, right? You know, try not to get in foul trouble because, you know, his big thing is getting to the line. He's led the league in free throws attempted many times. So he likes getting to the line, being comfortable, looking at the ball, go through the basket. So, you know, there's a lot of things that we need to do in terms of minimizing Joel Embiid, if you would say that. Just make him work really hard.
So I think, yeah, your hope is that you can, you know, make Embiid set up for long, tough contested jumpers as always. Sean, we haven't gotten your series prediction yet. I for all the series that I'm like torn about who's even going to win, I always say it's going to go 6 or 7. And I am leaning towards the Knicks just because there is so much uncertainty with Embiid and how he's going to look. So I'm going to go with the Knicks in 7 games, winning a 7th game at MSG. I was going to go with 6 games, but I'm leaving that window for Embiid to start slowly ramping up. Here's what I will say, just my final word on something you said earlier, Sean, about Brunson. And we know Nick Nurse, his big fetish is like, don't let the star player score. At least it used to be. I don't know what it is now, but it used to be just don't let the star player get off. The thing about what's going to be dangerous about blitzing Brunson on pick and rolls, because I've noticed that Embiid is usually in drop coverage because he's such an improved rim protector. It feels like each year he's gone better defensively. If you blitz Brunson, though, and I saw this with the Clippers, Isaiah Hartenstein in that short roll, he can make great decisions. And when you got OG cutting or Josh Hart cutting, I feel like the Knicks are still going to get really good shots whenever Brunson's on the floor, which it's a similar situation. We're going to have to play Luka. We're going to have to give up something. But Brunson will create, I think it'll be really interesting to see how much Tibbs plays Brunson. We know how big he is in giving guys minutes and how much you can take advantage of the non-Brunson minutes because we really have talked about it at length in this episode. They don't have much else in terms of shot creation.
Yeah, and I mean, for starters, real quick on the Embiid point, the dangerous game of letting him get his 30 is that 30 turns to 50 real quick. If you leave him in one-on-one coverage, it not only turns to 50, but turns to both Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson fouling out of the game if you leave him that kind of. So I do expect and think it is the right route if the Knicks are throwing other coverages at him, bringing doubles, all those things. But as far as the series as a whole, I do think it's Sixers and 6 here. That I think the top end of this Sixers team is a little bit above, maybe even more than a little bit above this top end of the Knicks. And the reason I say that is Joel Embiid's still going to be the best player on the floor, even at 70, 80%, and even as good as Jaylen Brunson is. And the difference being that gap between Jaylen Brunson and Tyrese Maxey, the gap in between them is significantly smaller than the gap between Tyrese Maxey and OG Anunoby for the second best player. That I do think Tyrese Maxey is going to put on full display to the national stage how good he has become. Dude's a real deal all-star. He shined at brightest, at his best in the biggest moments so far this year, and I do think that carries into the playoffs. So I'm ready for a lot to be put on display during this. It's going to be a hard-fought series. I do think every game is going to be one of those down-to-the-wire games, but I do think the Sixers get this done in 6 games and move on. And I do wish this was a deeper stage of the playoffs because I do think both these teams are very good.
Any last words before we close it out? Give us the last words, everybody, and then make sure you plug yourself too at the end. Flea?
All We Live, Flea, Instagram, Twitter, wherever all of that. I'm there. Go find me. Knicks in 7. I think this is again going to be a hell of a series. Looking forward to just how competitive it's going to be. Right, these guys are really going to get after it. There's a lot of expectation from both sides, right? There's an expectation from Philly because they're thirsty to make that first Eastern Conference Finals with Joel Embiid, right? The Knicks are thirsty because we want to make that next step, get right back to the second round from what we did last year, right? So there's a lot riding on this series right here, right? There will be disappointment on any end, whoever doesn't win this series. But I do think that Joel Embiid won't hold up for this entire series, especially how long I think it's gonna go. I got Knicks in 7.
All right, Fabian.
Feelings Play Z, I can see your comments. I am fully aware that the 76ers are favored in this series.
I'm
That is
surprised by
true.
that, by the way.
Same.
Yeah. Are you?
I was too.
I got the Knicks in 7, baby.
Yeah, I'm totally shocked by that because I think again, they're gonna have to earn what I see. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'll be proven crazy, but I just see this clean sweep for me. I don't think anyone understands OG Anunoby is gonna be proven to be this just a defensive player of the year candidate when he's fully healthy. By the way, free agent in the summertime. He is playing for $150 million. He wants to play every game. Mitchell Robinson is going to play for a raise as well. I respect the 76ers. I think, Joel Embiid has been hit with just a bunch of bad luck. I don't know if it's stamina. I don't know if it's totally his fault, man, because talk about a special talent that has to get clean swept like this and get out of the playoffs like this. It's going to be bad, Sean. It's going to be bad. But Knicks in 4, baby.
All right, Sean, you give yourself a plug and let him know. Let him know.
Yeah, Dime, appreciate you having me on. It was good to chop it up. And Fabian Flea, good chatting. Again, I am disappointed that this is the first round matchup. That I would much rather this be a Sixers-Bucks first round. You guys taking down the Pacers. We can do this a week or two from now, and I could be talking about what a fraud Doc Rivers is and everything else on these airwaves right now.
That's something you and I are going to agree on wholeheartedly.
I think all of us will. All of us will.
AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not.